Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net. My name's Nick, call signs KN6DAL. I'll be tonight's coordinator. We're going to give a shout out to the W6VVR repeater and the Vacaville Radio Club. Also to the Freestar Network for the use of their repeaters and digital connections. And to the owners and operators of the WX5NAS repeater system. Also a big thanks to Mike, WG5EEK, Greg, W5GSW, and Brian, KK6BXP, for all their help with all the connections. And before we get started, we'll take a second and see if there is any priority or emergency traffic. And if there is at any point during the anti-net, you can say break break with your call sign and we'll clear the air for you so you can pass your message. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time?
Hey, Nick, do we have a topic for tonight?
No.
Okay. If you want, I wouldn't mind talking about the Q card people that I use, since it is relatively cheap and kind of a lost thing that not many people do, but it would be cool if we could inspire some people.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing being heard. The 2 Meter Crew is not an actual club. We're just a group of hams that are enjoying and learning all things ham related. There's no dues or fees to be a 2 Meter Crew member. If you're looking for more information, you can check us out at 2metercrew.net. You can also join our Discord group. There is links in the YouTube description on how to access those. This is an open anti-net. It's open for everybody and welcome. You can join in at any time. If you have anything to add, feel free to jump in and key up and say hi. The 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net meets every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and at 3 a.m. UTC. And we are on the W6VVR repeater. You can also link to us through Echolink at W6VVR-R. You can also link through Allstar Node's 51094 or 512342. Also through DMR Talk Group 317-4117 and through YSF Reflector 50462. Freestar All-Star links are 2195 and 2196. And then also the Mad Scientist Amateur Radio Club in San Mateo, California has a repeater connected. And you can also check out our Zoom link. We'll be posting that throughout the night for anybody that would like to join.
I will keep myself up, Nick, by the way, when you pass it to me.
And last but not least, the Anti-Net is also being live streamed here on YouTube. You can join, you can check out Northwest Ham Shack. If you like and subscribe, we will send you a message when we go live. So before we move on, we just want to take a second and see if there's anybody out there who has a new or recently upgraded license. If that's you, if you're a new operator or you've recently upgraded your call sign, come on in now.
Hope Mike would come back. Hopefully that's me next week.
All right, nothing being heard. We have a couple little loose topics we wanted to go over tonight, so I'm going to pass it over to Connor. And Connor, you can kind of go over your topic, and then I'll go over my topic, and we'll see what sticks. This is Nick, KN6DAL, passing it over to K7CBL.
Alrighty, just want to make sure this is working. K7 CBL. So, my kind of short topic is QSL cards. So most places you think they would be fairly expensive, you know, like $100 for 100 cards or something like that. And I see a lot of different ham retailers charging that much, which is just outrageous. So if you're interested in QSL cards, there's a good website called Canva, phonetically Charlie Alpha November. Charlie Alpha November Victor Alpha.com. And just for a list of things they do whiteboards, they do flyers, they do business cards, they do logos, presentations, videos, postcards, and everything. And that's the main thing is the postcards. They have a really nice, and this is not a sponsored ad or anything like that, just to make sure everybody knows that. But they have a great built-in editor to their website. And let me let this drop.
That's not me. Are you guys hearing like an open?
Yeah, it's not me.
Oh, never mind. That is me. All right.
All right.
And
we're back.
I may or may not have made some weird audio things go on. So, anyways,
K7 CBL for ID. Canva has a really good built-in editor. You can upload images. You can upload any type of art assets you want. And
I guess Nick wants me to
unmute probably because it sounds better for the stream. No? Okay, or not. Back to what I was saying. Uploading art assets, creating really cool fonts. If you are interested in the possibilities of this editor and you have a QSL card now, I believe that technically you could send me one now for having this contact. If anybody comes back to check in, I will send them a QSL card. So here's an incentive to check in. If anyone wants to check into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net and get a cool QSL card, please come now.
There we go. Incentive.
Nobody wants your QSL card.
Wow, that was hurtful. No one wants my QSL card. All right, maybe one more round.
This is Nick, KN6DAL, with the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net. And yeah, Connor, I don't know if anybody wants your QSL card or if nobody's got a heartbeat out there. But we'll find out one way or another. We're looking for any and all check-ins. Anybody that wants to check into the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net, come on in now.
Damn, no one really wanted that. If someone comes back, I swear.
I'm already trying to build my own here.
M6AY, Ralph South Hill in the UK. Coming back to you.
Hey, good evening. I apologize. If you could come back phonetically with your call sign, I didn't catch it. I had a child in the room.
Wow.
Mexico 6, India Echo Yankee. Mexico 6, India Echo Yankee. Rotherham, South Yorkshire. Coming through the Belfast repeater in Northern Ireland.
All right, I think I got it that time. M6IEY from the Belfast repeater. How are you doing tonight? And thanks for checking in with us.
I wonder if he wants a QSL card.
M6IEY returning. Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's 4:10 in the morning over here in England. I'm coming through on Echolink. I'm on my tablet. I'm just wondering whereabouts you are back to.
Well, thanks for asking. I am in a town called Everett, which is 30 miles north of Seattle, Washington, in the United States. and we have a couple of guests with us tonight that are from California that are on a Zoom chat with us, and we're also live streaming this on YouTube for anybody to watch. So you may be famous one day. Just a joke. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I heard Connor say, go on, QSL card. I'm wondering if it's a proper card or is it digital back to you, Connor, if that's possible to get back to you.
I'll key up.
You want to take that, Connor?
This is Connor, Kilo 7, Charlie Bravo Lima. It's a physical paper card. And I will say to anybody in the U.S. listening that to mail so I mail mine inside of an envelope, but to mail it outside of the U.S., I believe it's $1.50 per mail item because it's a special stamp that goes out. But then obviously normal stamp cost for inside the U.S. But to answer your question, yes, it is a physical paper card. Back to you, K7CBL.
K7CBL M6IEY returning. Yeah, the name is Paul. Yeah, I've never received a go on QSL card. I don't transmit very often, and I haven't got any test equipment. I thought it was for HF QSL cards, but if you could send me one, I'm not on QR. I fell out with him, to be honest with you. And I can give you my address for you to send it to the UK if possible, back to you.
Yeah, my email on QRZ is there. If you want to pull that up and shoot me it, I will send you a card.
I need his call sign, Nick, if you have it.
Yeah, I had to get it a second time because you were talking the first time. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
I'll sell it to you for $1.50.
Connor. I'll look you up on QRZ. I'm not actually on it, but I'll look you up on because I can get on it to look you up, and I'll send you an email. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I'll leave you lads to it, though. I'll leave you lads to it, and I'll get in touch with you at some point. Thanks for the contact, lads. And I'll say 7-3 for now and pass it back to you for any final.
All right, Paul, thank you so much for checking in with us and saying hi. Appreciate you being up at the wee hours of the morning there. So from M6IEY, this is KN6DAL. We'll say 7-3 to you, and let's see who else we got out on the air. Anybody, anywhere, come on into the 2-meter crew anti-net and check in and say hi.
Watch like 50 people come back wanting a QSL card.
Kilo 6 November
Frank.
Lima Whiskey. Oh. I'm sitting there.
It's Scratchy Frank.
I was trying to read your call sign off, Frank, and Connor was like, "It's Frank. It's Scratchy Frank." And you are scratchy right now, but you are readable. How's it going tonight?
Hi, it's going. Just another day in paradise. Actually at the PGA for once, which is amazing, I guess. Other than that, not much going on. Waiting for Zoom to resolve the Zoom update.
Yeah, let's wait for that Zoom link because it's getting worse and worse as you come through. But I see you popping in now. This is Nick, KN6DAL with the 2-meter crew anti-net. Looking for any and all check-ins. Come on in now. Make sure you get Frank his QSL.
Echo Tango Romeo. Y'all got any more than QSL cards?
We're sending you. We're sending you 2 of them. Hey, what's going on, Dan? How are you?
Not too bad. Just watching YouTube from the office here. How are you guys doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing miserable because I broke something that I've been building for a week, and I'll show it here on video in just a second. But other than that, things are kind of okay.
Good, very good, very good. Yeah, it's frustrating when you break something as you're building it, but it happens to the best of us. And Connor, if you want to swap QSL cards, mine's got the old call, but I can write in the new one. I don't know, is that tacky or what?
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Dan, at all.
Oh my God!
QSL. Well, I'll let you return back to the net, guys. Great talking to you. KN6DAL and 6CTR, back to you.
Oh, always good to hear from you, Dan. This is Nick, KN6DAL with the 2-meter crew anti-net. We might be having a little bit too much fun here. Looking for any and all check-ins. Come on in now.
Connor, I print my own when I do them, and that way I do them just one at a time.
KN6OUJ, Alex in North Richmond.
Alex, KN6OUJ, how you doing tonight?
Fantastic. If you could give us a quick rundown on what you're doing tonight and what repeater you're on.
I can sure do that. It's not going to be quick because there's a lot. We are connected through the W6VVR repeater in Vacaville, California. Also through Echolink at W6VVR-R. Through Allstar Node 51094 and 512342. DMR Talk Group 3174117, YSF Reflector 50462, and then also through Freestar and the Mad Scientist Amateur Radio Club repeater in San Mateo. Freestar also has a bunch of RF, I forget what they call them over there, but they're just like linked nodes to repeaters, and so yeah, we're connected all over the place. Tonight's topic is just kind of how the week's been. Connor had brought up QSL cards because that seems to be one of those things that is kind of fading away a little bit. And so he wanted to kind of revive the idea of QSL cards and then offered to send QSL cards to people tonight. So I think he roped himself into something because the first person was on the complete other side of the planet, which was awesome. So Alex, back to you.
Copy that. And QSL cards are so cool. What a fantastic link system. And I'm sorry, I haven't participated until now. I see you're mad scientist all the way from San Mateo up to Vacaville, and I'm somewhere in the middle. So yeah, if I do get a QSL card, it will have a dog somewhere on
it. That's good. That's good. You know, the sorry, I lost my voice. Connor had brought up a website, which is Canva. You can get the app, or you can do it just online on their web interface. But you can design them yourself, and then they can print them, and they're fairly reasonably priced. So if you get a chance, check that out, and you can put as many dogs as you want on it. Back to you.
Copy that. Got you at Canva, and as many dogs as I want. Music to my ears. So no further traffic, back to net.
Hey, thanks for checking in with us, Alex. We appreciate you, and you can come back anytime, man. This is Nick, KN6DAL with the 2-meter crew anti-net. So I think now is a good time to share my sad story. So I'll switch video cameras here, and I'm just going to leave everybody else up because I don't really want anybody to get a good view of it anyway. So you'll be able to see on the people that are watching on YouTube can see in my screen a picture of a Go box that I built. So I built this Go box kind of mirroring one that Connor had built because I saw it and I was so impressed with the design, and I just thought the finish of it was really cool, and I wanted to build something similar. So I kind of took some of his ideas and some other people, some other YouTube artists' ideas, and ran with it. And I incorporated a Raspberry Pi and a touch screen, and then I've got a HF radio, the G90, and then I've also got a UHF VHF radio incorporated into it. There's a 16 amp hour LifePo 4 battery, and the capability of charging it, an additional power supply so I don't have to run it off the battery if I don't want to, and all kinds of different things like that. So that's what I built. I spent some time building it, got it all finished, and then I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Right here in the corner, I cracked the top of the case. Not only did I crack the top, but I cracked the bottom, and I'm really sad about it now. So I got to redesign the whole thing, but you know what? It just wasn't overbuilt enough in the beginning. So I learned my lesson that if you're going to do it right, you only have to do it once. And because I knew that the top was kind of flimsy when I started with it, but I was trying to make it work, and it just didn't. So I'll take more time with the next one, and hopefully it'll turn out better. But the concept was great, and hopefully I get a little bit of use out of it throughout the course of the winter months. Maybe a little winter field day action. But that's it for my sad news. We'll pass it back and see if anybody else wants to jump in and say hi. This is Nick with the 2 Meter Crew Anti-Net. My call sign's KN6DAL, and we're looking for any and all check-ins. Anybody that wants to check in, come on in now.
Oh, I forgot one thing, Nick. When we
everybody's you can you come back with your call sign one more time? I thought it was I thought that was Chris.
Yeah, you got it right. I didn't leave enough time, so I apologise about
Chris.
that. Yes, it's 2E0 UKH in the UK. I'm off work this week, so I saw you on YouTube, and I thought I'd pop in. And I'm watching you on YouTube on the Northwest. Back to you, Nick.
Oh my goodness, Chris! It's so good to hear from you, man. He slid in there and just threw his call sign out. And yeah, Chris, it's great to hear from you, man. How have things been over there? Those of you that don't know, Chris has got a super cool YouTube channel. If you'd like, Chris, feel free to plug that while you're talking. But it's good to hear your voice. Tell us a little bit about your week and how ham radio's been going for you.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Nick. Yeah, I've been to the biggest ham fest in the UK this past weekend, and it was on Friday, Saturday, and I did a bit of camping, stopped over, played radio all weekend, you know, and I've been messing about with the ISS APRS and the ISS repeater, and I'm on the Anytone at the moment. This is the Anytone A78 UV plus 2, the brand new model. So I'm up to my old tricks, basically, just playing video all day long. Back to you.
Yeah, I haven't seen that video yet, but I did see the notification that it uploaded, so I'll check that out. I haven't yet made a contact with ISS, so I'll be excited to see how the ins and outs of that worked out for you. But man, it's always good to have you on here, and I know it's the middle of the night for you too, but definitely cool to have you out there. And you didn't plug your YouTube channel, so I'm plugging it for you. Those of you that are watching or watch this in the future, check Chris's YouTube channel out at Digital Analog Ham. He's got tons of cool videos, all kinds of different tutorials, all sorts of really neat stuff to to look at, and he's someone that has been inspiring to the ham radio community all over the place, and so we definitely appreciate you coming on, man, and saying hi. And it's always good to have you on as a friend out here, buddy. So I'll pass it back over to you for one last round, and then we'll see who else we got out there.
Yeah, okay, Nick, awesome, thank you very much. And yeah, I'll make this my very last final. You know, we were talking about the ISS, trying to hit the space station. It's actually really, really easy, but you've got to have a few steps. You know, there's a few steps. You need to know that you need to know what the radios are doing on the ISS. So if you do a quick search for ISS repeater status or radio status, it comes up with a page and it will say whether the repeater is switched on. And on that same page it gives you the APRS details, what that radio is doing. So you've got to know you've got to know that it's switched on, you've got to know when it's going over, and you've got to have your radio configured. And if all those are in place, it'll work. Okay, 7-3, Nick, cheers.
All right, have a great morning, Chris. This is Nick, KN6DAL, with the 2-meter crew anti-net. We're looking for any and all check-ins. Anybody that wants to come and say hi, do it now. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Dave, K6WBY. How you doing?
Hey, Nick. Good evening. This is Dave, K6WBY. I've been waiting all night to get on the air and talk about my week in ham radio. And it all started with missing a couple of anti-nets in a row every Wednesday night, usually, hopefully, at 8 o'clock. But my week started with moving my DX commander in the backyard. When I originally set out to cut my coax to set up my antenna so that I could reach the garage with my coax, I cut it probably about 10 feet short, or I set up the antenna 10 feet too far away. So this weekend, I picked up everything, I moved everything, got the distance that I needed. So now my, what you see behind me, if you're on Zoom or YouTube, is kind of the prep to start to understand how my bench is going to work out when I get to building my ham shack. But it's been easy to leave this thing set up, which I've never been able to do before now, and just drag the coax into the garage and plug it in. So it takes about 2 minutes to connect the radio up and I'm on the air. And this weekend and even the beginning of this week has just been a fantastic experience for me on HF. I've made a lot of 10-meter contacts, which is something that's been almost non-existent my entire time as a ham and as a general. And I've made several DX contacts on 10 meters, Japan, Brazil, and I've been picking up some other DX contacts as well as contacts all around on 20 meters and 40 meters, and just really having a bang up week with kind of everything that's been going on. The band conditions have been really good and treating me well, and I've been able to see how things are going to kind of sort out in the shack and understanding the distance to the wall and how I'm going to build my bench, and so just having a really good week and a fun time. Back to you.
I was I was watching the timer on the repeaters. I was like, they're gonna crash in a second. This is Nick, KN6DAL. Yeah, the 10 meters has been just kind of blowing up. It's been really cool. I've made a couple contacts, not near as many as you have for sure, but a couple contacts while I'm driving. I'll just turn it on, and it's really cool to see that band light up. And so I'm a new enough ham operator that this is the first time that's ever happened for me. You know, when I got my general 10 meters was just nothing ever. You know, every once in a while you heard a little bit of digital noise, but nothing. But yeah, super cool. Frank, you'd came in and you were pretty hard to get traffic through when you were coming in on the air. So I'm going to give you a second round if you want to take it away.
Sure, I'll take it. It'll give me a chance to throw it out there. I'm going on a little mini vacation. I leave Saturday, come back next Wednesday. So I don't think I'll be here next Wednesday, but I will be. That echo is just wow. Is that from Dave? No,
that's all on your end.
Headphones. Nope. Anyway, I'm planning on activating POTA at 3 different parks, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, all 4 days. So I'll be working 10 meters upper sideband as much as I can. 6 meters and 2 meters. Most of it's going to be in the northeastern Sierras and the northwestern part of Nevada. So those that have good shots into those areas might be able to hear me. Other than that, nothing much going on around here. I'm actually at the QTH for once, hence RF, but apparently the antenna has moved around since you guys couldn't hear me anymore. Anyway, KN60AL on the anti-net, KG6NL, there you go.
All right, thanks, Frank. I'm a little disappointed that you're not doing a POTA on Wednesday because I would kick on 10 meters and we would try to make contact with you on the anti-net. That would be a ton of fun. But that sounds like a blast. And I did see your post. For those of you that are interested in maybe making some contacts with Frank when he's out on his trip, he did post in the Discord chat group all of the different times and places that he was going to be activating. So if you check that out, you can see if you can make contact there. But yeah, consider getting a Wednesday. Did you just raise your hand?
Yes, I did. I will also have my APRS running. So if you look up my APRS, you'll be able to follow me around too. I could probably just come up on 10 meters either tonight. Well, tonight might not be good, but next Wednesday night too. I could just come up. I have the rig sitting right here with the antenna hooked up and everything.
Okay, next weekend is 10-meter night. There we go. We've got it.
There we go.
Go through the anti-net, and then we're gonna shut it down, and we're all gonna move over to 10 meters and see what happens. Sounds good. All right, this is Nick KN6DAL with the 2-meter crew anti-net. We're looking for any and all check-ins. Anybody that wants to check in, come on in now.
As Dave was talking about, propagation has been great, and I've been getting mostly Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Louisiana. I've gotten Winnipeg, Cuba, and Argentina, though.
Yeah, it's amazing how far some DX contacts can get. Chris, Digital Analog Ham, had mentioned try 10-meter FM. And then I'm just kind of reading through the chat right now. And then Connor had said tech class license don't have 10-meter FM privileges because they've only got 28.3 through 28.5 single sideband and data. Also, digital modes. If you are a tech, you can do that. So that actually leads me to my next question. Is I wonder what class of license in the UK allows for 10-meter FM use. I wonder if that's the first or the step up from that. But if you hear that, Chris, if you could maybe he just commented that it looks like all license classes in the UK have 10-meter FM privileges. So there you go. Limited to 10 watts. This is Nick, KN6DAL, with the 2 meter crew anti-net. We're looking for any and all check-ins. Anybody that wants to come on in now.
New York to the UK, or UK to the New York 10 watts FM, 10 meters.
9 Hotel 2 Lima Bravo, 9 Hotel Bravo.
All right. If you could come one more time. I got part of your call sign, but I didn't get all of it. One more try there.
Nine Hotel 2 Lima Bravo, 9 Hotel 2 Lima Bravo, 9 Hotel 2.
All right, I got it. 9 Hotel 2 Lima Bravo. How are you tonight?
Bravo, Louis, Lima, Oscar, Uniform, India, Sierra, and QTH is the island of Town. The territory. Time is 37 minutes past 5 Thursday morning.
All right, Luis, I got part of your transmission. It seems that occasionally it looks like you're coming in through Echolink. Occasionally it's dropping out, but I do copy you. Could you come one more time with what island you're from? Because that cut out, and I was curious. Which island are you from?
To Bravo, which is the island Mike, Lima, Alpha. Island, Mediterranean, they are 60 miles.
He's in the middle of the Mediterranean and in the Alta, Mike Alpha Lima Tango Alpha.
All right. Well, the fact that you're even making it in at all is impressive. The Echolink does seem to be cutting in and out. So I think maybe if you get a better connection, try again here in a little bit, because I would love to have a conversation with you. It's just cutting in so much. But hopefully you can hear me. And I appreciate you checking in with us, Luis. That's 9 Hotel 2 Lima Bravo. And I appreciate you checking in. This is KN6DAL with the 2 meter crew anti-net. And we'll move on to see if there's any other check-ins.
Everybody's keying up. Loop. It's looping.
That was VVR.
Interesting. VVR is having a minute.
Okay, we're back on.
Okay, no problem. Good evening. Network. Hotel to Lima Bravo clear. 73 for now. Thank you.
It was VVR that was doing it.
It sounds horrible on the RF side.
That's really weird. Did all the other transmissions were good?
Yeah,
Everything,
they were fine.
everything else was fine until then, yeah.
Did we break VVR? I'm so sorry.
No, it sounds like there's an issue with the node.
Yeah, something's going on. All right, this is Nick, KN6DAL with the 2 meter crew anti-net.
You want me to make an announcement on RF, Nick, that we're disconnecting?
On VVR, I disconnected it.
Yeah, I got you.
It's not working. All right. Did you get it?
Bravo Lima. We're going to be disconnecting from the W6 VVR due to some issues with the Allstar Node. Feel free to come over to this 2 meter crew anti-net on the Northwest Hamshack YouTube channel and join our call if you're interested. This is Kilo 7 Charlie Bravo Lima, and the anti-net will be clear of this frequency.
So explain to me why you just came in through Freestar.
I didn't. I went directly to the VVR. I'm keyed on the VVR right now.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. I'm direct onto the VVR. Like if you hear like, I got the VVR right there.
Yeah, and I'm not. And you were keyed up over Freestar. No, you
I
were
think
keyed
somebody's
up.
looping.
You were keyed up over
Nope.
N6.
It's not even on my VFO. Not even on my VFO. I definitely am keying up on the VVR. So I think there's somebody's got a loop somewhere.
All right, we're going to try this one more time. This is Nick, KN6DAL, with the 2-meter crew anti-net. We're looking for any and all check-ins. Any and all check-ins, come on in now.
Back to normal on RF.
That wasn't through VVR, though.
You were coming through Mad Scientist, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you on VVR. So but nobody's connected to Mad Scientist. So how is that coming out of VVR?
That's what I'm saying is I don't know how they're bridged because I don't have anything else connected.
I don't either. I'm connected to Mad Scientist is connected to you, and I'm connected to it on my local node just in case RF took a dump for some reason, which I have no connections into the VVR whatsoever.
Okay.
If that was you just keying up, then you came out over Mad
Scientist. I didn't key up.
What the hell is going on?
But what I am going to do is look and see at the bubble chart and see who's connected. Yeah, I'm going to close down the RF side. We can just BS for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, nothing being heard. This is Nick, KN6DAL, with the 2-meter crew anti-net. We're having a little bit of connectivity issues going on here. We had to terminate the VVR connection because there was some looping going on, and we're going to try to investigate that. So we'll be hanging out. We're live on YouTube for a little bit longer. Anybody that wants to join in, we'll post the link to the Zoom chat if anybody's interested. And until we see you all next week, we'll say 7-3.
Hey, Nick, leave the links up for me if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to look at the bubble chart. That something's wrong with the repeater, dude. Did you just hear that? It didn't even ID fully.
No, it ID'd fully on RF.
Really? I didn't hear it on RF.
But why is audio feeding? I am not connected to VVR. So that means that either Freestar or
someone's got a loop.
San Mateo is connected to VVR. That's the only possible options.
San Mateo's not connected. San Mateo is connected to my local node, and my local node is connected to Nick. Nick is connected to Sussex Okay, Freestar.
Well, Nick, your last two transmissions came through just fine on VVR RF.
Yeah. I don't see anything linking into VVR. I'm looking at the bubble chart right now. I see no links into VVR whatsoever.
I'm gonna let everybody stare at my go box for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the node right now. I'm gonna look at its center bubble chart. What's the node? 51094, I think. Yeah. The VVR is connected to Mike, which is connected to digital.
Which would connect into VVR.
So yeah, Mike is connected to digital and he's connected to the VVR right now. He's the only person connected to the VVR. So he might have a digital link somewhere.
I know Mike. We're talking about Mike the Geek.
Yeah.
Yeah. His digital connection is the only way for DMR to get into VVR, as far as I know.
Then.
No, I can link DMR.
Well,
and Connor can link
it might
DMR.
Be the only one. It might be the only one, but that doesn't make any sense because why would? Here, you didn't unlink anything, did you, Nick?
No.
Okay,
other than VVR isn't connected.
No, it's still connected.
It's still connected. We're not connected to it. There's got to be a digital link. Disconnect Freestar. Just disconnect Freestar and I'm going to key it.
Okay, Freestar's off.
Gone. So something with a digital connection in the Freestar, because I just kerchunked the repeater. K7 CBL ready. Well, I don't have enough power, but
Yeah.
K7
Well,
CBL
I'm looking
ready.
into
There you
Freestar's
go.
connections. There's 100 billion of them, so bear with me.
Yeah, I looked at VVR. There's nothing connected to it other than Mike's digital nodes, and VVR also is connected to node 3069556, which is node not in database.
That might be your looper then.
Yeah, but Allstar
why it
shouldn't
just
loop.
started. Yeah, it'll boot the person who's looping, or it'll put them into monitor mode. It should at least.
I can key up VVR if you need me to.
I just
I'm
sent
just
you the
curious.
screenshot of VVR, Nick.
Yeah, I saw VVR. I'm looking through.
Yeah, the only thing VVR is connected to is Mike.
But Freestar is connected somehow to VVR.
Oh, hey, wait, hold on. Connection just disappeared from VVR's bubble chart. That's not us. It just disconnected. So, and
Really?
it was that node not in database. If you look at that screenshot I sent you, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay. Now look at this screenshot. I just refreshed the page and this disappeared. So that node in the first screenshot that was connected is no longer there.
Dave, don't you just love all the fun troubleshooting behind the scenes?
You know, that's
3069556.
the
See,
next
I just
project that I
uploaded
have
it.
is
Oh, it's
getting
gone now for me,
my
too.
Yeah.
computer
Yeah.
synced up with my radio.
Right.
So,
Nick, that's weird. What is that? Do you have an idea?
no, but Mike is doing it
Why is he
silently
Mike's
in the
awake?
background. Huh?
Mike's awake, I guess.
Probably. He's a wizard, man.
message.
He's probably doing it in his sleep.
That came across.
He's that good.
That's something. I don't
Seriously,
know what that came
man.
across.
Wasn't VVR.
Okay,
Came
so
across
I
mine.
just reconnected Freestar. Somebody key up over VVR.
KG6
Kilo
Natalia.
7 Charlie Bravo. Lima.
Kilo
Oh,
7
that worked.
Charlie Bravo Lima.
That really worked out. Jesus.
No, but it all sounds good though. It sounds right.
Yeah, it all sounds good.
But I'm not connected to VVR, so Mike is still connected to. Mike is the only connection to VVR, and he's also connected to Freestar right now.
Mike must have been doinking with it while we were doing stuff, I guess, because it was fine before, and then that just came up.
Which is fine, but the concern is, I don't want anybody to think, well, you guys are local, so if anybody comes on and Freestar is on and connected to VVR, because that upset some people.
Yeah.
Because they would have like a really long net in the middle of the day and nobody could talk. So if you could just mention that wasn't me. I disconnected everything on my end. But I mean, anybody can see. Anybody can look it up just like we did and say, "Oh, well, it's not me that connected it." So it's weird.
Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 QSL cards, 1 international. That other guy in Malta didn't say he wanted one, so.
Oh, we could hardly hear him too.
Yeah, he wanted one. He just didn't get around to saying it. We couldn't hear him.
I mailed out a total of, let's see, so I got them. So I've had a Dymo printer, or however the hell you say it. I've had one of those for a couple of years now. My dad got it when they were still only like $100, but now they're worth like $480 or something like that on Amazon. And I use what's the name of that software? Amateur Contact Log. It's the one that's made by the same people who make the field day log, like the commonly used field day log. And it has a button, so you just put your contact in. I just normally dump into QRZ directly and then export into that app. And then it has a button. You search up your contact that you want to send a card to, and then you click on it and you hit print QSL strip. It dumps the QSL info. You hit print address, and it prints their mailing address, and then I just keep the Dymo app open, and I print my return address, and I just slap it on, put it in an envelope, slap on their mail to address, slap on the return, put the stamp on, lick it, and throw it in the pile, and next. And I got it down to about a minute a card. And I've sent out maybe, I think total I've sent out 30 cards so far, 2 of which were international. One of them being to a Japan contact, which I talked to Japan on 10 meters sideband for about 45 minutes. And then, or sorry, no, that was Indonesia. I talked to this guy in Indonesia for about 45 minutes. And then I sent one to, I guess you could say technically my first DX contact on HF via my own call sign, that, you know, not including field day. And he's in Australia. So, yeah, and it was like $1.50 to ship just a normal mailing envelope, because I don't mail them like postcards because they're gonna get all scratched up and stuff. So
I was trying to get New Zealand on 10 on Sunday, I think, but I could hear Connor. I could hear the Japan contact talking to Connor. I couldn't hear Connor, obviously, but I could hear Japan talking to Connor on what was that, Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, it was one of the weekends. That guy was really strong. I don't know how strong you heard him, but he was full. Okay, there's the looping again. But yeah, I don't know how strong he was for you, Dave, but he was like S920 over for me.
Which Japan station was that?
That was on 10/16. So whatever date that was, Julia Alpha 5 Delta Papa Lima.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I put him down as, so he was S9 like 17 over at my base station, but what I've been doing is I keep KFS open, because with 10 and the conditions and how they vary so often, I can't hear myself on KFS. But if I'm calling CQ and then all of a sudden the conditions drastically change and here comes, you know, Argentina screaming in loud and clear, you know, I want to see if they continue to call CQ or if I need to move frequency, because I'll park somewhere for like 45 minutes calling CQ and make like, I don't know, I think I made like 40 contacts within like an hour. And then conditions change within 10 or so minutes, and then Argentina's screaming on top of me. But there was something, I had a conversation with Mike about it on the air, and it's regarding amplifiers. I think there's an amplifier kit going around on the market right now, like a DIY amplifier. I haven't seen it, but this is just my suspicion. Looking at my band scope, and really noticeable on like a KFS Web SDR, for example, there is some people that are just like wall to wall, tons of splatter. Their signal sounds like garbage. It sounds like they're on a CB. Now, I don't know if it's because 10 meters is having an opening and people are using like those cheap CB 300 watt amps that you see on Amazon, or if there's a kit going around, but they sound so bad. They splatter. I mean, they're splattering like to 4 or 5 kilohertz wide on sideband, making pretty much taking up, you know, 2 good slots where other people could be having a QSO. And that's kind of been plaguing 10 meters in the past, like, I'd say 3 weeks that it's been open.
I've noticed that too. It's been,
yeah,
there's a couple stations that are just horrible like that.
Yeah.
What I love,
don't know if
though,
it's recent, though. I don't know if it's recent or if it's like these people have had this equipment and like we've just not heard them because 10 meters hasn't been open. But I would say the first week that it was open, I didn't see any of that crap. And then like by the second week, I started seeing a ton of it, like really bad.
I think it just has to do with the people all of a sudden noticing it's open. You know, the word gets around.
Yeah.
I mean, I checked 10 meters every time I get on the air since I put up a 10-meter antenna, and I've never heard squat, not even a ripple. I mean, it's
Really?
noise free, and then I haven't gotten out that often, or probably at the right time. And usually when I'm checking, it's not the right time, but the last, weekend, it's just been crazy. And I've made a ton of 10-meter contacts. It's been almost the only place I've operated.
Hell, I've been so tempted to throw up I have another 49-to-1 that I built because I bought enough to build, to build 2 of them. One of them for field use, and I've been like so tempted just to hook up another one north to south, and then try to work Nick, because I'm pointed directly east with mine. I guess I'm east to west, with a slight downward slope towards the east. And I don't hear Nick at all, but I've been so tempted just to like point one his direction. That way we can make it happen. But just haven't had the time to do that.
Dave, the image I just sent you, the red box is the pole that my antenna is sitting on, and the blue box is the first of 3 sections. It's a parts built 10-meter antenna. The parts come from an HF Yagi that I have no idea make, model, nothing. And I just took what I could find of 10-meter and just stuck them together, hook coax up, and there you go.
Good thing that tree's there.
Right. I mean, I have the pole into the ground about 4 inches, so it's in there good, but I leaned it against the tree.
That's pretty good. Yeah, everything I've done has been with the DX Commander, and like I said, I moved it a few feet in the yard, and it didn't affect anything. But I'm surprised at the contacts that I've made with the antenna that I have, in my backyard, and I am in a really compromised area. I mean, I'm in the Napa Valley. Just to the east of me, there's a mountain range that's 1,600 feet high, and I mean, I'm talking a couple hundred yards to the east of me. The mountain is right there. To the west of me is I think they're called the Mayacamas, and I think they're about 2,000 feet of elevation, and that's just a mile and a half to the west of me. And so north and south is kind of open, but and the other problem I have is the noise floor that I have here. It's just really noisy. I don't have a good station ground at this point, and I just don't know how to get over that hump with the noise to really kind of even be able I can hear people, but I can't see them. I'm listening to a couple of guys on 40 meters right now that have been just yakking away for the last hour, and I can hear them perfectly clear, but I can barely see their signal compared to the noise. And the noise is dropping off a little bit now.
What frequency?
7.141.
Oh yeah, I hear those guys. Kinda. I'm in the same boat as you. Like, you hear them, but you don't see them.
Yeah.
I mean, I put a ground rod in. I guess you could call it a ground rod. I just got a piece of rebar, and I drove it in the ground. It's good to have friends with mini jackhammers, is what I've been telling people. Oh, here's these guys. Hold on. Guy's a little weak, but
Connor,
demolition hammers is the way to go. And he came over to the house, just brought the thing, climbed up on the ladder, and we just spaced it like 2.5 inches, 3 inches away from the wall, the foundation technically, and just within like less than 10 seconds, the thing was sunk 10 feet in the ground. And then I just ran the wire from my my ghetto way I get wire out of the wall, which is shove it under the AC unit in my window. and it's only like a 4.5 foot run. Just put that, go get a standard size ground lug. I can't remember what size, but they're just like what you would actually use to mount like stuff to a patch panel for ground lugs, not like a typical clamp ground lug, and then just tighten that in there really good. And I noticed like a very significant drop. Like I had really bad, I had bad power line noise, and then I had like some sort of RFI that only started to occur when my new neighbors moved in. So it's something that they brought with them or bought when they moved in and plugged in. And it completely has gone away. Like my waterfall has never been darker, which for the 7300, that's a good thing because normally it's super bright blue when your noise floor is high, or like it's like a navy blue-ish, and then the incoming signals are like teal. And my noise floor reduced down to like an S. It was like an S6, and at its worst now, it's like an S4. And it was a major improvement. For me, I was absolutely shocked, and I know that I need to bond. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but I do need to bond my ground rod for my station and then my house together. Those have to be bound together, and then also like follow electrical code when you do that, because I realized if I bind them, I can't use the piece of rebar. I have to get a proper 8-foot copper ground rod. That's why I haven't done that yet.
You know, that rebar,
yeah.
That rebar is going to start treating you dirty in a year or so, because it's going to just rust and corrode. And the difference between what rebar does and what that copper rod will do is going to be significant, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's cool that, I mean, it worked and it made such a difference, you know, immediately. And I mean, where my shack is, you know, I've got 2 rods already in the ground back there. I mean, it's totally prepped and ready, but I haven't obviously gotten moved in back there. But
I will give you one thing for grounding. This sounds funny to say this out loud. Don't like go to Home Depot and get grounding stuff. It's like actually quite expensive. If you can find it on Amazon from like a trusted brand, like there's brands that are on Amazon, and it's like $3 cheaper for their their ground bar, distribution bar, whatever. I don't know the technical term for it, but it's a distribution bar. It's like $3 cheaper than Home Depot's. Same thing. I didn't want to wait because Amazon wasn't delivering it in time. The rebar was also super cheap. That's why I went for it, because I was like, okay, before I spend the time, because where my ground rod is for the house, I have to put another rod in because I have to bind every 6 feet. And it's about 12 feet away from me. Yeah, like what Frank's holding up, or there's even cheaper ones and smaller ones like I'm using. But for my city code, you have to do it every 6 feet, and I'm 12 feet away from the rod, which means I have to sink another rod anyways. So the rebar was kind of just a ghetto quick fix type of thing, and also kind of a proof of concept more than anything. And I mean, where I'm at, we're not really prone to lightning, so if there is like a storm coming where we have that lightning, I will disconnect the antenna, but I'm not really all that worried about it. As of right now.
I'm sure Dave can back me on this one. As someone who didn't have a lot of lightning and now we have it every other year, do all the grounding, like you're in Texas grounding.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't already. So I am already using like all of my verticals all run through polyphasers, like legit polyphasers, not the cheap MFJ junk that basically takes the shield of the coax to ground. It's none of that crap. It's the actual polyphasers, because a lot of the time they get just like they get left wall mounted on the sites that I work at when a tenant vacates, and they just sit there. And so I just let them sit for, a couple of months, and then we just take them down along with all the other crap that they leave like coax. And I've just accumulated a ton of polyphasers that I just decided I'm going to put them to use. So I run all my verticals through them into the actual house ground. But my HF, I didn't want to do that because of the whole thing. I would still have to sink a rod no matter what. And it was easier to do it here because if I sink the rod to do the binding to the electrical for the house, there's apparently a water line back there. So we have to like get our city plans where this water line go, or sorry, not water line, sewer line, the sewer lateral goes, because there's a 3-inch sewer lateral connection that runs right under my backyard. So
yeah, just go right into that. It'll be fine.
Connor,
hey,
I was planting some olive trees in my front yard, and I had a buddy come over with the big jackhammer, for digging in the dirt and all.
Yeah.
And I called the city and I had them come out and mark everything so I knew where everything was, because there's utilities out there.
Yeah.
And so we went to town with the jackhammer and like everything was marked. We're good. And come to find out, when the water line in my front yard broke in the street and they had to come and replace things, where they had marked the lines was nowhere near where the actual line was. And I was literally inches, maybe not even inches, maybe an inch or two away from jackhammering right through the water line that services my house and my neighbor because of this cockamamie thing they did through the front yard, which makes absolutely no sense. And I almost jackhammered up the gas line too, because it was also marked in the absolute wrong place. Just completely wrong place.
Is it PG&E? PG&E?
Well, it was PG&E and the city water company, both. And
yeah, because PG&E doesn't know where half their own crap is. They did that to us too. They said it's right here. We just put this one in 10 years ago, and it turns out they never actually switched over to the one that they installed. So they were on the old one, which ran opposite direction, and we hit it in the front yard.
They have no idea. No idea. Cool, guys. Well, it's been fun. I'm excited to be back and been having a lot of fun with my radio. My shack concept is coming along, so I'm back in gear and getting closer. So now I'm already shopping for antennas again and trying to figure out which tower how I'm going to get the tower up and where, and amplifiers and all kinds of fun stuff.
So is this picture behind you is in your shack house?
No, this is in my garage. Okay. But I set up this table and this bench because I don't take the stuff down anymore, because I was packing my radio out into the backyard, and I'd sit at the table out there and set it up. And my portable system that I have, it's sitting on top of my battery box right here. So I have a radio box which is down underneath. I don't know if you can. So down there is the box that my radio lives in. And basically I open up the battery box, flip the switch, take the radio out, set it on top of the battery box, plug it in, and then I can operate. But I move that inside, because of the weather and whatever else. But it's more of judging how far from the wall that the bench needs to be in order to run coax behind and power, and kind of what the arrangement's going to look like, what's a comfortable height for the radio to be at, so I'm not like bending down, to see the waterfall and that sort of stuff. And now I can set up my computer, which is sitting next to my radio, and next I need to kind of get into the cat control and computer control my radio, and then figure out how I'm going to mount kind of everything else. But kind of just dealing with the concept. I've got my power supply is up here, which is actually on the other side, but kind of where everything's going to fit and how it's going to live. So
I do have a question for you about that real quick. Are you building your own bench, or are you just going to use the table that you have there? Or?
No, I'm going to build my own bench. So there's, in the shack right now, there was a workbench in there, which I tore out. I mean, I've torn out everything that's in there. I painted the whole inside of it. The bench framework is still there, but it's not at the right height, and it goes all the way to the wall. So I need to pull that away from the wall. And I need to move the height. I should just probably get on Amazon and get an adjustable height, frame.
Oh yeah.
Which Colum, who's the guy that sells the DX Commander, Callum, that sells the DX Commander, did a whole video on a frame that he bought that he just put his own table on top of, which would probably be a good solution here. But when we first moved into this house that I live in, there was a swinging door between the kitchen and the rest of the house. And so it had to be all the way open into the pathway from the front door, blocking, the pathway from the front door, or had to be all the way open, like covering the refrigerator, or you just couldn't go through that door. It like blocked the main artery of the house. It was kind of weird, but it's this beautiful, like really heavy, solid plywood door, nicely finished. It's a perfect workbench. So I took it out like the first week that we moved in, and I've had it, ready to become this perfect workbench. And so it'll make the perfect bench for my ham shack, and I could probably just mount it on one of those adjustable tabletops, and then it'll be offset from the wall, but perfect width, size, shape. It's a huge door, nicely finished, nice and smooth, and then it'll fit at one end of my shack.
That's cool.
So yeah, once I get that resolved, once I get the table height resolved, which I kind of just thought of that solution right now, the next thing I need to do is start pulling wires. So I've got the panel mounted. I have all of the supply wire run and the grounds and everything run to the shack. The panel is in. Now I need to start pulling power for the rest of the shack and the lights and everything else that are going to be in there. So, which is a pretty quick, if I had the layout of where everything was going to go based on where the bench is going to fit and et cetera, it's probably like a one day, a weekend project, and I could have the wiring done, and then I could start finishing out the inside. So it's not a lot left. I've just been so busy with everything else, I haven't had a chance to really focus on that.
That's cool.
Is the inside of that box, is the inside of that shack insulated at all?
It will be. So
are you gonna sheetrock it?
I don't know if I'm gonna sheetrock it or do like wood paneling, like maybe a 3/8 plywood, cabinet finish paneling. Just because if I do something like that, it's a little more durable than sheetrock, and it'd probably be more expensive, but it's such a small building. It's like, a few dollars more expensive, and then it just makes it so much more versatile. Of you can hang anything on the wall anywhere.
New cedar. That way it smells good.
Yeah, I could do that.
Dave, unfortunately, another thing you have to take into consideration: how quickly does it burn?
Does the shack burn?
He's not planning on burning it down, Frank.
Yeah. No. Because we live in wildfire-prone area, you have to think about that.
Yeah.
Earth is a wildfire-prone area.
The whole state is. Come on.
I'm not terribly worried about that. My property is pretty well taken care of. So being a firefighter for 21 years and an insurance guy, that was the least of my concerns when we had the glass fire. So not too concerned about that. It's got a nice asphalt shingle roof. It's off the ground, no problem.
Having suffered 2 house fires of my own, not wildfire related either. Yeah, I take.
Are they both Frank related?
No.
I'm trying to run an amp.
Dude, you set yourself up for this so hard.
Oh, I know.
You just handed it to us. None of them were wildfire related. Both of them were Frank's fault.
Yeah.
One was when I was 7. One was when I was 26. So you do the math.
Okay.
Yeah.
So progress. It's
Right.
this has been a good study in understanding how this is working. So I'm excited to move forward on that project in the next couple of weeks and really start hammering it out. The hardest thing I'm having a problem with now is getting the paint color that matches the house. The paint contractor, doesn't have a good, that painted the house doesn't have a good record of it. And he said they don't make that paint anymore. And he gets his paint from a paint shop in Napa, and just like, man, I just want to go down and get a couple of gallons of paint so I can finish the outside of it and make it look nice. And while the weather's still good. So that's the race against the clock at this point. But anyhow, well, great to catch up with everybody, and thanks again, guys.
I'm not sure who's on. Connor, do you have YouTube pulled up?
Yeah, 2 people watching. One of them's me.
Okay. So I don't know who else is watching, but that was brutal. I'm sorry.
Poor stat sack.
Poor guy.
No, it's it's you could get some good pointers. The only thing I would say, like when we eventually get the garage cleaned out, is I think I'm gonna run 12 volts throughout the walls. Nice beefy 10 gauge wires, and give myself a bunch of 12 volt outlets throughout the entire garage just for the grins and giggles. So I mean, it's good input for anybody that even has a like. For me, I'm always taking like ideas of how I can improve my thing. It's never truly finished. So
what does running 12 volts do for you?
If you want to what would be really cool is have 12 volt on one side of your, like, one supply that gives you 12 volts throughout the entire garage or your entire shack. Say you have like multiple workbenches or whatever, if you use something standard like Anderson's, right? You could always oh, hold on, I need 12 volts to test this radio I just got, but my bench that has my supply is all cluttered up with crap like mine is. Right in the wall, right in the wall you go. Right in the wall you go with the jumper, and you've got hot 12 volts right there.
Do they make a wall mount plate for Anderson power poles for 12 volt supply?
I think they do, but personally what I would do is I would just get a blank and then just 3D print some Nick has them in his Go box, or has one of them, a circular, I guess, marine style mount for an Anderson power pole. I don't know
I
how
printed
it. It's just yeah, and just get a blank and then just step drill bit it out and just put it in there into a separate electrical box, of course.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's maybe the second smartest thing I've heard you say tonight, Connor. Because that's I could easily do that. It would be easy to set that up. And
wait, what was the first smartest thing he said?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, I was just giving him credit for something that maybe I missed.
Was it like when he came on and he was like, "Hey guys"?
Yeah.
It was when he volunteered to send QSLs out to everyone.
I agree with Connor. If I had like a dedicated shack building, I would run 12 volts in different spots, just because it's convenient. I mean, if you think about it, like just looking around, everything that I have is running off 12 volts, like some way or another, right? I've got, you could eliminate all of, like, just get a beefy 12 volt power supply, right? Just a nice power supply.
50 amp, 70
and run
amp.
Everything, right? That you're eliminating the need for all of your little USB dongles to plug anything in, LED lights, anything like that. You're eliminating all of those things. And you can just run them off of power that you've already got wired in, and you eliminate, like, because when we're chasing down noises, it's often that garbage that's causing it. Like my monitor's running off of my power supply right now, the monitor that you guys are on, and just all those little things you can completely get rid of by running power. It's a genius idea.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea, and it's something I didn't think about. Like I know I'm gonna have 12 volt at the bench, and I know I've got that covered, but to have it on the other side of the room, there's a kind of an open space where I'm gonna have like another separate little workbench area, and just to have 12 volt over there or somewhere else in the room, it absolutely makes sense, and I can easily do that right now that I wouldn't be able to do once I close up the walls.
Yeah. I can
Is
tell you
your
there's
car
been
in the
100
garage?
times where I've ran power from my power supply over to my bench over here to test something. Like I did it just the other day when I was redoing. So once I got this whole Go box put together, got it all bolted in, went to power it on, and the Raspberry Pi said low voltage warning. And I'm like, that's weird, right? Well, the Pi was on its own little buck converter, so I could plug it into 12 volts and it drops it down to 5.1, right? Well, that little buck converter, they're just cheap little step down buck converters, went bad, and it was putting out like 2.5 volts, right? And so I opened it all up because I had it all heat shrinked. So I opened it up and tried to adjust the pot, and then the whole thing just stopped working. And I'm like, okay, so I ordered a new one. And when I took the new one, I wanted to test it and make sure that no matter whether I fed it with 13.8 or if I fed it with 12.5 or I fed it with 14.6, I wanted the end result to be 5.1, right? And so I bought a special buck converter that did that no matter what voltage you put into it, it kicked out 5.1. Anything under 3 amps, you were good. That covers my Raspberry Pi. And I was testing it, and I had to run power all the way from one side all the way over here just to test it out different ways. When if I had power right there, I'd mount, if I had a shack like yours, I'd mount 12 volts right into the workbench so that like I could literally take a radio that didn't work, take it apart, put it back together, plug it in, test it out before I incorporated it into the shack, you know? So.
Yeah. Also your car, that's the other thing. If you wanted to trickle charge your car just for the grins and gigs, you could always like pull your car and trickle charge it. Or if you need to actually,
or if you have one of them fancy electronic cars.
No, God. Tesla, RFI.
It's a completely separate building. It's not the garage. I'm in the garage now, but yeah. All right, guys, I got to run.
Okay. Yeah, it's time to shut her down. I'm tired.
Tons of fun. Yeah. Have a good one.
Bye, YouTube. Bye, everybody.
Check your DMs, Nick.